the 2009 knockout of the year, and you know, again, talk about that first fight in 2009 that kicked us off, the Mosley Margarito fight.
Yeah, no one saw that coming. I mean, everyone thought Margarito was just going to walk right through him, kind of wear down the older, smaller guy. You know, Mosley was just you know, a snowball effect. From round one, he just put it to him, and it just kept doing it, kept doing it. And I honestly thought Margarito was going to kind of come back, you know, and start winning rounds around 5 and 6. It just didn't happen. He just kept eating punches, just over and over, and then finally that was it.
Mosley, he
throws everything.
It wasn't a straight shot. He got Margarito. It was like, you know, from like they say, a pillar of poison. Because he was like, boom, and then I'll knock you over here, and I'll knock you over there, and it just, Margarito's face looked pretty beat up.
He was smiling the whole time he was getting knocked out.
Right, yeah.
I think he thought he was just going to get up and win, but he didn't obviously know where he was at.
Yeah, that means...
or what was going on.
Yeah, and Margarito's always been known, you know, as a guy that, you know, again, always moving forward, but that's got a rock solid granite chin. And, you know, and Mosley, you know, it just shows you in his you know...
his skill level and the speed, and he's got power. I mean,
he's got the power.
You know,
he's got the power.
You don't want to be known for taking punches, especially from a guy like Mosley. I mean, just no one's known for that.
Yeah, and then so that was you know, the number one
start of the year
to kick it off, and then you had the vicious knockout uppercut from Juan Manuel Marquez on Juan Diaz, and I felt bad for Juan Diaz. I'm a Juan Diaz fan, and an Arnold Marquez fan too, but man, I mean, I just thought, man, this is, and you know, I think that fight took a lot out of Diaz.
Yeah, you know, I thought he lost the next 2 fights to Malignaggi.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, he's fighting some high caliber guys. Marquez, obviously the old veteran who can take a punch, obviously give a punch. And, you know, Diaz was coming forward. I mean, he looked good early, but then you could just see the tide turn. And then Marquez just started putting it to him, and then ultimately knocked him out.
Right, and it was a.
But I mean, that second round, you know, Marquez almost didn't make it out of there.
Yeah,
I mean, that was that close.
That was a great second round, and you know, that's a candidate for a round of the year. But that fight was, and that knockout, time of knockout of the year, was definitely a candidate. The other one, there was 2 Taylor knockouts, one by Froch and one by Abraham, you know, and I think
everybody else he fought lately.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, for 2009, right?
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you know, man, I mean, I think that Abraham knockout was just quite a knockout. But
it's almost like 2 different knockouts. I mean, he got beat right at the end, but you got Abraham just putting, you know, exclamation point on that fight. You know, he's pretty much winning, wearing him down, and then finished him.
Right.
Whereas Froch was behind and was able to get the knockout. He had to get a knockout to win the fight.
Absolutely.
So they're both brutal. I mean, they both knocked him out right at the end. You know, one had to do it, and one was just proven, hey, I'm going to get more points if I knock you out, and finish the fight.
And he did, and those 2 extra points, I think he got an extra
first place.
Yeah, he's in the first place, and
he's got Durrell coming up, right?
Yeah, the Durrell fight. That's going to be
Rancho Mirage.
That's going to be a great fight. You know, that's going to be there at the Agua Caliente. So you know,
one more knockout though.
Well, actually, there's a couple. We've got
my favorite coming up.
You've got the Angulo Yorgi knockout, and then you've got the Bute Andrade 2 knockout. That was a vicious punch to the solar plex region. Oh my goodness! And then those are the ones. And so, you know,
I think a lot of people are probably taking Pacquiao Haddon.
You can't go wrong.
I don't know. Did you ever mention that one?
Pacquiao Haddon. Yeah,
that was pretty vicious because I mean he was out for. We didn't know if he was going to get up ever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a one-shot. You know, fight's over. Angelo, I think, was great because he knocked the guy out. You got the camera right next to the guy. Slow-mo, he's knocked out, and then you see another punch just come and just a hook through his clock.
It was it was beautiful because, and I think that's my pick for the knockout of the year because it was like a double knockout. It was like he was already out, and then he said, "While you're in the air, let me just." I think it was an uppercut, and then it was a come across.
Yeah, it was like a hook.
Oh my!
And the camera was right there, and you saw his eyes. This guy's right here. I mean, you were looking up.
He was tuned out, man. He was.
It's a good thing he was out, or else he would have, you know.
Yeah,
he would have felt both of them.
That was pretty good, and I think the real close runner-up is maybe not necessarily a headshot, but that Butte
body shots are always pretty. You know,
Andrade, you know, I mean, he knew it was over. I mean, he's the look in his eye. So again, that's KO of the year, Angulo, and I think we'll see probably some more KOs of the from 2010 from that guy. So
yeah, of course.
And now we've got the other 2009 award, the Performance of the Year. Okay, because you know there's winners, there's losers, and there's draws, whatever. But you know, I think, you know, again, we talked about that first fight of the year, that Mosley performance. He was the underdog. It was like, hey, this is, you know, I couldn't even almost believe that he took the fight. And you know, Margarito just looked from Cotto so unstoppable, and Mosley just, it wasn't even close. You know, like you said, Margarito was smiling through it all, and that means that this doesn't feel good. You know, I mean, really.
Yeah.
So you've got that. You got the Mayweather, you know, coming back.
That was a dominating performance
that wasn't even close, you know, and you know, that was from a long layoff, you know, in boxing at least, and then you've got the Andre Ward, utter dominance over Mikkel Kessler just a few months ago.
Maybe you were Paul Williams and Winky Wright, because Winky. He had to go up and weight.
That's a good
dominated that guy. I think he maybe lost one round if he did. You know?
Yeah, that was one where again you also was you were thinking it was going to be a lot closer than it was. I mean, nobody has ever dominated Winky Wright like that. And then of course you got the Pacquiao Cotto fight, because again that was, you know, I think a fight where you had a lot of people that thought, hey, this is his time. You know, he's had it, you know, his way coming up, but this is going to be where it kind of stops, or at least it's going to be a tough fight. And it was a tough fight.
Yeah, he lost a few rounds. You know, but he really hadn't lost any rounds in the, you know, against Diaz, De La Hoya. Hatton was so short. He didn't lose any rounds. He lost like the first round, I think, to Cotto.
Yeah,
you know, second. You know, and obviously his year, like you said, was, you know, huge, and you know he was testing his power, so to speak, getting hit. But you know, that's a great fight. Obviously, he hurt Cotto enough to where Cotto wasn't the same after that uppercut or whatever. You know, he was still fighting a good fight, but he just wasn't 100%. He was already fighting at 75, and then it was just a matter of time before he warmed down. But there's some great performances. I probably have to go with Mosley on that one.
Yeah, you know, I think Mosley, and probably a close second would be that Ward fight, because he just really set the tone, and you know, like Mosley did. And I think, you know, even though I'm a fan of both of the guys who won, Mosley and I didn't think that, and Ward, I didn't think that Mosley was going to win that fight.
Right.
And I thought, even though that was, you know, something that a lot of people thought we were crazy about, was picking Ward on Kessler, you know, if you know your stuff in terms, again, the matchups, then that's what we were looking at.
Those fights so good is that underdog more or less dominated the favorite.
Right.
Maybe that's why they stand out so much.
Yeah, I mean, again,
they're great performances, but they're underdogs and they're dominating the guy that should win. And, you know, they stopped it in one fight because the cuts. I mean, he just kicked his ass. Another one, he knocked him out right around the same time, 9th, 10th round. So, I mean, a lot of good fights, but those two stand out.
Yeah,